Remember when someone asked you how you were doing and you actually told them the truth? Yeah, me neither. Hi, I'm Dr. Amirah Hall. I'm an energy psychologist and executive coach with over 2 decades of experience helping people break through invisible emotional patterns. Today, I want to talk to you about why saying I'm fine might be the biggest lie you tell yourself. By the end of this video, you'll learn my 3-step process to break free from this I'm fine cycle and reconnect with your authentic self. So you can finally experience relief and connection that comes from living your truth. So we've all got this script. I'm good. I'm just busy. I'm hanging in there. Meanwhile, inside you're thinking, I haven't slept in days. Or I cried in the car before this meeting. Or I'm just one small comment away from losing it completely and having a total meltdown. The crazy thing is, the person you're saying, I'm fine, to is probably doing the exact same thing. We're all pretending for each other, and for what? I remember when I worked with clients in Dubai. They would sashay in their beautiful, elegant abayas, and I'd ask them how they were doing, and they're saying, I'm fine, with their practiced smile. I'd be thinking, who are you trying to fool here? The amazing thing is how quickly that wall began to come down as they would start trusting my process. Within a couple of sessions, they would start sharing about what's really going on. So look, if you're watching this thinking, oh crap, she's in my head, I get it. That's why I've set aside some time this week for clarity calls. No BS, the link is in the description. So we keep up appearances. We maintain the image. We're also worried about keeping up the facade of having it all together, right? We post highlights and we hide the breakdowns. We say we're good and we're just tired or just busy when we're really going through it. We've gotten so good at the act that sometimes we even fool ourselves. It's like we're all these amateur actors in a play called Everything's Fine. And we've been rehearsing our lines for so long we've forgotten that it's not the truth. Think about how many times a day you say these phrases without even thinking. I'm good, you say to your boss, while inside you're thinking, I'm drowning here and nobody sees it. I'm just tired. You tell a concerned friend, well, my heart's racing so fast I can barely breathe. No worries, you respond to a colleague's mistake while internally, I'm so furious I can feel the heat rising up my neck. Meanwhile, you're thinking about flipping the entire conference table and walking out for good.
A lot of the negative self-talk comes from where? It comes from the baggage that we carry from our childhoods. And this is what a lot of people don't appreciate.
Each time we choose the easy answer over the honest one, we disconnect a little more from ourselves and from the people who might actually be able to help us. Then what happens? Well, we break down. Not on schedule, not when it's convenient. We break down when we're alone in the car, hearing that one song that finally cracks the dam that we've built. We break down in the shower when the sound of water drowns out the sobs we didn't even know were waiting to escape. We break down at 3 a.m. when our heart's racing, staring at the ceiling, suddenly confronted with every single thing that we've been pushing away. Full confession. Just yesterday, I caught myself saying everything's great to my neighbor while things were a little hectic. I couldn't bear going through all the details what I was going through when I knew she had her own issues, nor did I want to spend the time. But at least I was aware of it. Now let me tell you about 2 clients who changed everything. Carrie was a high-level executive who came to me after her 3rd promotion in 5 years. On paper, she was crushing it. In reality, she was having panic attacks in the bathroom stalls between the meetings. When I asked her how she was feeling during our first session, she said, you guessed it, I'm fine. It wasn't until our 4th session that she finally broke down and admitted what was really happening. I feel like a fraud, she said. I'm terrified that somebody's going to figure out that I don't belong here. But here's where it gets really interesting. Marcus, another client, he was the opposite. He was struggling in his career, constantly getting passed over for promotions. His go-to line was, it's all good. I'm just paying my dues. But underneath that casual exterior, he was furious. He was resentful and miserable and completely disconnected from what he actually wanted. For both of them, the turning point wasn't a complicated technique. It was the simple act of telling the truth, but not just to anyone. If your inner voice is saying, stop describing my life, maybe it's time that you and I talked. There's a link in my bio to book a clarity call. The spots are limited this week because real conversations take real energy. But for those who love understanding the mechanics of our mind, there's mind-blowing research showing that emotional suppression literally changes your neural pathways. Each time you push down a feeling, your brain strengthens those suppression circuits, making "I'm fine" your automatic response, even when you're falling apart.
Swart.
We cannot undo a negative thought pattern. We have to overwrite it with a new one.
Meanwhile, those emotions, they don't vanish. They get biochemically encoded in your muscle tissue, your nervous system, your entire physiological makeup. That's not woo-woo talk. It's documented science. It's complicated, right? Sometimes we pretend that we're fine because we have to, because we need the job, because we don't have the energy to explain, because no one really wants to hear it anyway, right? I get it. But here's the thing about constantly saying that you're fine when you're not. It disconnects you from people who could actually help, from the conversations that might make things better, from the relief of just being honest. We're not meant to handle everything alone. Humans never have been. But we've created this culture where asking for help feels like a failure. So here's my 3-step process for breaking free from this pattern. First, awareness. Pay attention when you automatically say, "I'm fine." This isn't just mental awareness. Your body is keeping score. So when you say those words, pause and scan your physical sensations. Does your throat tighten? Does your breathing get shallow? Do your shoulders instantly get tense? Next time someone asks you how you are, pause for 3 full seconds before answering. Just that tiny gap can create enough space to notice what's actually true for you. Second, start small. Find one person this week where you answer honestly when they ask you how you are. Just one. It doesn't have to be a deep confession. Even just a simple shift from "I'm fine" to "actually, today's been challenging." It actually opens the door. And what's fascinating is how this ripples out. When you go first with honesty, you give others permission to do the same. It creates a domino effect of authenticity. And yes, it might feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is the feeling of growth. 3, create a new pattern. This is where real transformation happens. When you consistently choose truth over performance, you're actually rewiring your energetic field. Think about it this way. For years, you've been creating energetic blockages every time you suppress the truth. These blocks disrupt your natural flow and keep you stuck in patterns of exhaustion, resentment, and disconnection. When you start speaking your truth, you're not just changing a conversation, you're literally clearing these energetic pathways. You're allowing your life force energy to start flowing naturally again. And if you're thinking that sounds terrifying, yeah, it kind of is. Being honest about not being okay can be scary, but pretending is exhausting. And when Carrie finally started telling the truth about her struggles, something remarkable happened. Not only did her panic attacks decrease, but her team's performance actually improved. By being vulnerable about her own challenges, she created space where others could be honest too. And Marcus? Well, once he admitted how angry he actually was, he could finally see that he was in the wrong career entirely. Within 3 months, he had switched industries and found the work that actually aligned with his values and his purpose. So the truth is, none of us have all this figured out. We're all just doing what we can with what we've got. And some days, that's a lot. Some days, it's barely anything. So if you're tired of the "I'm fine" cycle, let's talk. I've opened up a few spots in my calendar for some clarity calls. The link is in the bio, so go ahead and schedule before they're gone. That's it for today's video, and here's my question for you. What would you say if someone asked you how you were really doing right now? Not the automatic response, but the real one. Let me know in the comments below, because honestly, we're all just doing our best. And sometimes our best isn't fine. And that's actually fine. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.
What if you could completely change your life and your career in just 10 weeks? This is the real deal. I was just in a holding pattern. I was living my life to the potential I knew I could live it. I was hiding from the world. I was a little stuck in that sort of like rinse and repeat pattern.
I was about to lose everything.
I was just totally immobilized and had a lot of anxiety and depression.
I was depressed. I didn't want to even partake in anything.
I was feeling stuck. I didn't know where to turn.
I just thought I was going to get a job. You and I started doing the inner work. That's when I think the real work began. And that was something totally different than I had ever experienced.
I was in such a transition period. After the first session, I felt so relieved, like just a weight taken off of me.
My attitude has improved greatly. I am not procrastinating like I was. I'm happier. I like my job again. I've had a company reach out to me. They just come out of the blue. I've had a recruiter reach out for a job. It went from, what am I going to do to, okay, which one am I going to pick?
The job that I wanted just popped out. Everything happened so quickly, and the job was mine within 2 weeks.
All the work went away. And then all of a sudden, just millions in contracts have been coming in, which is pretty crazy.
Now there's bidding wars with some employers over me trying to get me to work for them. I'm just so excited. I ended up getting 3 job offers. I put my house up for sale, and an offer came in 2 days later for $15,000 more than what we listed it for. It's just been an incredible journey.
Out of the blue is literally my dream job with huge increase in salary.
Now I am the Senior Vice President and Global Head of Salesforce Practice. What I invested in myself is actually it's a 5,000% return, doubled my income.
My wife did a complete turnaround 180 degrees. I started making the best money I've made in my life. I became a happier person.
It's been so amazing. It's just life-changing.
When I look at where I was when I started and where I am now, I'm a different person. I feel like I'm finally being the authentic me for the first time, maybe even ever, without fear and with confidence. And you can't put a price point on something like that. You just can't.
I've seen a huge change in myself in terms of stepping into my power, being way more confident and loving myself in a way that I did not.
This is the most valuable thing that I have learned in my lifetime. This is an opportunity that's been presented to you for a reason. This is a must do.
I want to encourage you to take the opportunity to work with her because, wow, you will have your own experiential journey that will blow your mind.
It's just life-changing.